Hello everyone. In the last video, we looked at the definition of a number system as a means of expressing numbers and why we needed a number system. In this video, we'll be looking at a special type of number system known as number bases. A number base is a system of representing numbers using symbols, usually digits or letters, or it can also be a combination of both, with place values, where each symbol has a specific value based on its position. Examples include base 2, which is commonly known as the binary system, and base 10, which is commonly known as the decimal system. Now, the base 10 system is the number system we use today in our activities. Why? Well, probably because we have 10 fingers, and so then in primary school we're so used to counting with our fingers. The number after the base represents the total number of digits used to form the numbers. For example, base 2 uses 2 digits, which are 0 and 1, and for base 10 we use 10 digits, which are 0 to 9. Now, I know everything might look confusing because I just came, I gave a definition, and now I'm looking at examples already. So to better help you understand the definition I gave, we'll be looking at an illustration. So I'll be using the English words of these numbers, and we'll present some numbers in the base 10 system using the symbols we already have for representing 0 to 9. Now, suppose we have a slot which indicates the amount of ones we can add up to form a number. And remember, we are working in base 10, so for each slot that we are going to introduce, we can only use 0 to 9 for that slot. For 0, we know that no amount of ones can be added to get 0. So we use the symbol for 0 in base 10 in that slot. For 1, we know that a single 1 is needed to form 1, and so we use the symbol for 1 in base 10. Same thing applies for 2. We know that 2 ones are needed to form 2, and so we use the symbol for 2 in base 10. And so we continue in this manner until we reach 9. Now, how can we denote the number 10 in base 10? Knowing that 10 ones make a 10. Keeping in mind that when we started this illustration, we said that for each slot we can only use the digits 0 to 9, and we've already reached the maximum digits for this particular slot, which is 9. Well, what we can do is to create another slot that records the number of groups of 10 ones that can be added up to form a number. So this group of 10 ones is what we call tens. So basically this slot just represents the number of tens we can add up together to get a particular number or needed to form a number. And so to represent the number 10, we know that 10 ones make up a 10, and so we need a single group of 10 ones, and so we update the tens slots by the number 1. So for the number 10, we see that in base 10 we can write it as 1 0, indicating that we have 1 10, which means a single group of 10 ones and 0 extra ones. And so the first slot starts filling up again, indicating that for numbers between 10 and 20 we need a single 10 and some extra ones. And so after 19 we notice that the 10th slot increases by 1, indicating that we now have 2 tens, which we also call 2 groups of 10 ones to represent the number 20. After the number 99, we have 100, but representing it might be hard in this case since our 2 slots have reached the maximum number we can use for each slot. What we can do is similar to what we did before. So we can create another slot that records the number of groups of 10 tens that can be added up to form a number in base 10. And so this group of 10 tens is also what we call hundreds. And so as the second slot gets filled up and we try to increase it by 1, it leads to an increase to the count of the next slots, which indicates that we need a single group of 10 tens, 0 extra tens and 0 extra ones to be added up to make 100. And so we can see that 100 can be written as 100 in base 10. And when we keep going, you notice that each slot fills up sequentially from right to left. Once a slot is full, the next slot to the left increments by 1 and the previous slot resets to 0. This can also be seen in our digital clock. The first slot counts the seconds, and when we reach 59 seconds, the next slot increases by 1, indicating 60 seconds make a minute. Now let's go back to the definition of number base I gave in the beginning of this video and see if we can make some sense of some things I stated there. The definition tells us that a number base is simply a way of representing numbers using symbols with place values. And so for the number 193, we can use the digits 1, 9 and 3 on the third, second and first slots respectively. So the digits are the symbols we can use and the slots are more like the place values. The definition also tells us that each symbol represents a specific value based on its position, which you can see for the number 193, where 1 represents 100, 9 represents 9 tenths, meaning 90, and 3 represents 3 ones. So hopefully with this video you'll be able to understand what the number base is and how we actually represent these numbers using different symbols. And so if you like this video, you can help me by liking this video and hitting the subscribe button if you've not already subscribed, and also sharing with people who you think this video might also help. And in the next video we'll talk about how to convert from one base to another. So see you there.